Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Vegan Bloomers, where we aspire to learn, connect, and inspire. My name is Luna. I am your host, and we welcome today our lovely star vegan, Timothy. Welcome, Timothy.
Lovely to be with you, Luna.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Uh, Pleasure to be here.
So let's begin with where you're based, how old you are, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself, huh?
Or a lot, whatever you like.
I mean, the Cliff Note version or the little bit version. Anyway, I am currently based in Spain and I am, how old? This is 2025. So I'll be 75 in March of 2026.
Nice.
And
And
a
tell us
little
about you. What do you do with your time? Like, how do you spend like your life, your hobbies, all that jazz?
Oh my God. I'm basically in service to humanity. So
Love that.
I spend my life creating things that will uplift humanity. I've written 300 children's stories, 50 children's songs, have a book club for children and parents. I've been teaching meditation, yoga, various forms of Qigong and Tai Chi for 45 years. Uh, I've developed grants for the state of California for
Oh,
10 to 15 years on various tobacco education programs for children and mentoring programs for children. I've been a certified public accountant, Reiki master, ordained minister. I could I've I've
you've done
owned
it
a
all.
I've owned a chocolate shop. I've presented seminars across the country and around the world.
Wow.
There's an overview.
So what do you do now? What's your main thing now?
My main thing right now is the children's stories, and I've also have monthly circles called Bliss Weaving, where we get together in a group and remove whatever is blocking our bliss in that moment. And those are weekly. And I also have a teenage, well, I don't even remember what I called it right now. But basically it's for teenagers from the age of 12 to basically 16 or 17
Yeah.
who are looking for a vocation in the world and are oriented towards spirituality and movement. And I teach them everything I've learned over the last 45 years so they can go out and teach various forms of meditation, Qigong, yoga, Tai Chi, and earn a living without having to go to college if they don't want to, without having to have any equipment, just them. They can go anywhere in the world and support themselves.
I love that. That sounds amazing. Yeah, it really sounds like you are definitely making your mark in this world. I love that. They're
Yeah.
very fortunate, these teenagers. Now,
Yes.
let's move on to like why we're really here. So tell us, how long have you been vegan and what was it that got you there? Tell us your journey.
I would say vegan since around 2007 and somewhere around mm, late 1970s, early 80s. Yeah, actually, it's the late 70s. I realized my body wasn't working the way it should, only I didn't know what should was.
Okay.
I just knew something was off.
Yeah.
And I was on a board of directors, and one of the board members was an Aikido master. And he was also spiritual psychologist, and always very calm. Japanese nationality, Aikido master, meditated. And so I just happened to ask him, you know anything about the body health? And it's
Yeah.
like, and he said, yeah, he says, I have an iridologist that I go to, and she's the one I follow. And I didn't even know what an iridologist was. And for
I don't
those,
know what that is. What is that?
that is somebody who has a special type of microscope
Right.
that looks into your eyes and can tell by the formations, deformations, colorations, striations in your eyes what's going on in your body as far as what system might be off, what organ might be off.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. And what wasn't fascinating was her telling me, well, you got to change your entire diet. It's like,
Oh,
okay. And my diet up until that time was a lot of milk, a lot of butter, a lot of toast, fruit, vegetables, meat, potatoes, rice, like a standard American diet, or maybe even a standard, somewhat English diet,
yeah.
uh, with a lot of vegetables and fruit mixed into it, salads, things like that, and a lot of ice cream. Oh God, yeah, butter, ice cream, and milk are what kept me nice and soothed emotionally as a child.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can relate to that.
My mom's mom, every time we went to visit, which was often, she always gave me a cube of butter to take home with me.
Oh, really? Don't
Yeah,
tell me you
and
just ate it.
I did. I just ate
Oh,
it.
gross.
I ate it on the way home.
Oh my gosh.
When I was training to be a Reiki master, it's real interesting how we tune into our body more. And I had gone through a really powerful guided experience, and I made myself a piece of toast afterwards, and I was sitting there, and it was just piled with butter. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, it's like I hear this voice in my head. Do you like the toast, or do you just like the butter?
Okay.
And I stopped eating grains when I got that message.
Oh, okay.
And one more message that I got about eating grains. So I literally just stopped eating grains. Um, So yeah, that was my diet. And the iridologist, she took me literally, she took me off of just about everything. The only meat that she wanted me eating was fish. And she had me I'd never juiced before in my life. And she gave me these juice recipes, and oh my God, Luna, I got so sick. I mean, literally. And some of them tasted horrible.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. I'm not a fan of the
Oh,
juicy
oh,
stuff.
they were really bad. And about the same time, a little bit after that, I started taking Tai Chi classes. And the first 3 or 4 classes I took, right the next day, I would get sick. And after about 3 weeks of that, I just tuned into my body, and it's like, this is weird. Every time after Tai Chi, I'm getting sick. What's going on?
Yeah.
And my body said, if you put one more of those terrible tasting juices in me, that's why I'm getting sick. I do not like those. And so that taught me that no matter how healthy something is supposed to be for us,
It's not necessarily right for us.
yeah, and we all have unique taste and unique needs. And if something doesn't pass the taste test, not to be consumed on a regular basis.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe as a little bit of medicinal dose now and then, but not regular. And anyway, that really started shifting my diet. but it was cold turkey, really. It was like no dairy. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Um, yeah, it was a complete shift. And then she also had a timing involved, and oh my God. And at the same time, I was transitioning careers and I opened a chocolate shop. And I never really liked chocolate that much,
Okay.
but owning a chocolate shop and making it all day long, and the fact that she had taken everything else away from me, and down at the end of the strip mall where my candy store was a um, donut shop.
So was your chocolate shop a plant-based one or not?
Uh, what do you mean by plant-based? No,
Or
no,
like no
no,
dairy, no like vegan friendly?
no. At that point in time, no. What I was buying though was as pure of chocolate as I could get, not the stuff like the candy bars are made out of.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of dairy was in that I was melting,
Yeah.
but it was pretty much pure chocolate. It had no synthetic ingredients or anything in it that most of the candy manufacturers use to keep chocolate from melting
Right.
while it's waiting to be sold. And I didn't know that.
No,
So
I was just about to say like that makes so much sense because I always wondered why there was like so much other random stuff in it. I'm like, what is that actually doing? And it's the melting. So yeah,
a
that
lot
makes
a
that
lot
makes
of it
a
is
lot
to
of
keep
sense.
it from melting. So, here I open up a business and it's based upon making shipments of chocolate. And it's like, I didn't know because my chocolate would melt. I had to ship it dry ice.
Love it.
I learned a lot the hard way. But anyway, I overindulged on chocolate. I got back into eating donuts again, and because she had taken everything away, so it's like I wouldn't suggest to anybody changing their diet to go cold turkey. It's Ayurvedic has a principle where if you're changing anything, whether it's a habit, a diet, whether you're trying to remove something from your life or bring something in,
Yeah.
do it in quarters. And there's a magic in doing it in quarters. For instance, I've helped a lot of people quit smoking literally by saying, okay, if you have 20 cigarettes a day,
Have five.
no, yeah, if you've made up your mind to quit smoking, have 20 for a week every day, same thing. Only I want you to be aware of smoking them.
Right.
So no coffee while you're doing it, no eating, just smoke and enjoy the cigarette. The next week, have 15 a day. The next week, have 10 a day. The next week, have 5 a day. By the time the next week rolls around, you really don't want a cigarette. And
Yeah,
it's
I can
pretty
imagine.
amazing. I broke myself of eating too much ice cream and that using that way. Um, and so my diet kind of evolved. And at one point, I don't know where I gave up eating fish even. And it wasn't vegan. I did have dairy and tried all kinds of different diets, macrobiotic diet, just I tried it all. Um, and then in 2007, I did a lot of research on a raw food diet and picked a path doing raw food. And that's pretty much the time I became vegan.
So where in your journey, like, because obviously veganism is all about the ethics of animal cruelty. Where in
Mhm.
your journey does that come in?
About 2007, 2008.
What
That's
happened for you, like, to like shift to that?
well, I was switching
Nice.
to a raw food diet, and basically, and I was mostly fruit.
Yeah.
which didn't really work for me. I've had to shift things back a different way and incorporate more nuts and seeds in my diet because my body likes more protein than it does carbs.
Yeah.
Um, like I used to love, oh God, I used to love waffles and pancakes and just covered with butter and syrup. And I noticed that every time I ate those things, it's like I crashed afterwards.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to put two and two together that every time I eat a lot of carbs, I crash afterwards. So my body likes more fat and protein than it does carbs.
Yeah.
So when I switched to the raw food diet, which was like 80% fruit and 10% leafy greens and nuts and seeds, there really was no animal products involved. And
Yeah.
so I just, even though my diet has shifted in these last 18 years to various forms of being raw and mostly raw, like I should, there's just been no wanting for anything related to animals.
Yeah. So
And
like,
even in my, it's amazing, Luna, in my whole journey, even after 7 years of being vegetarian, um, I went to work for a Boys and Girls Club, and the director and the assistant director were talking one night as I was leaving. They started talking about there's a franchise in the United States called In and Out, and they make the best hamburgers in the world. They're really good. And I had never had one.
yeah.
So these guys start talking about these In and Out hamburgers. And I was like, okay, I haven't had it. After 7 years, I just thought, okay, I'll go have a hamburger and see what it tastes like. Well, I can't have a hamburger without French fries and malts. And so I did that. And then I decided I'm just going to allow myself to eat anything I want now. So I started eating meat again. And I did that for 2 weeks. At the end of 2 weeks, I woke up one morning and literally, you know how people might have night sweats
Yeah.
and wake up sweating? I woke up in a pool of oil.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it's like after 7 years of not having that sort of food
Yeah.
and then allowing myself at least once a day to eat, submarine sandwiches and all kinds of things. I literally woke up with just oil or, oozing out of my skin. It's like, yeah, this sucks.
Yeah. That is gross.
So that was almost the end of me eating any kind of meat.
Yeah.
And it was about 5, 6 years after that. I was living with my mother and my grandmother. And, when you put yourself in an environment where you grew up trying not to eat what they have and what they served you as a child, that's a real test.
So how did that go then when you went entirely plant-based, didn't eat meat, dairy, or anything anymore? Like, how did your people respond to that?
The people around me,
Yeah.
uh, they're really, when I went vegetarian, again, I was living with my mom and my grandmother at one point, and they didn't change their diet. They didn't really care what I ate.
Okay.
And my grandmother did. I mean, she just kept sometimes offering me things, and it's like, no, but she was cool with it. My mom didn't care. It was my inner child that cared, that sat there and watched my grandmother fix this delicious fried chicken, and I couldn't have any. So one
Yeah.
night I decided to eat a lot of fried chicken. Um, and that was the real last time that I've had any meat at all. A long time ago, back in the 80s. But as far as, oh, it's been such a long journey. I would say the most uncomfortable anybody's been with me is people that I've dated or even been married to
Yeah.
that would get upset when I carried my own food into a restaurant. It's like, okay, if you want to go into a restaurant that you want to go to, I'm happy to go, but there's nothing there for me. So I'd carry my own food in. And
Great.
most places didn't mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes the people I was with, it made them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to compromise and sit there and eat something. Um,
Yeah, that's fair. That's interesting. I've never heard of anyone doing that before. Like for me, I won't go to places unless there's like a decent option for me. I'm like, no, I'm not going. So it's interesting to hear that like, oh yeah, to hear somebody be like, well, I'm just gonna take my own food.
and
I
I could,
kind of love that.
yeah, and I could usually find something on the menu that I knew it wouldn't satisfy me as a meal,
Yeah,
but to honor the restaurant and the server, I would order like a plain salad. Just give me some lettuce,
yeah,
or give me a baked potato, totally plain.
yeah.
Um,
That's interesting.
yeah.
So through your journey, like where have you like made the connection? Because you call yourself vegan, and obviously veganism is all about caring about the animals and being connected to the animals. Where in your journey did you make that connection to, them being sentient and that, you care deeply for not being a part of that?
Um, that started before I became vegan.
Okay.
Part of my journey in the world of making a living has been being a certified public accountant. Um, and anyway, I got audited one time by the Internal Revenue Service. So in the United States, you get, I don't know what it is in the UK and stuff, but they choose tax returns to audit, and then you have to prove absolutely everything you earned, everything you spent, and it's a nightmare. Um, but one of the auditors that I got one time, I went through that many times, uh, started started telling me about how I don't know what brought the conversation up, but he told me what made him switch from not eating animals anymore. And it was because he got assigned a client that was one of the facilities where they processed and slaughtered animals.
Right.
And going in there and seeing everything, just that moment stopped him from eating
Oh,
animals
geez.
ever again.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's heavy, man. Going in to walk into that.
Yeah. And just listening to him describe that,
Yeah,
it had an impact on me.
yeah.
So, yeah. And when I really go back, the only, I, the only meats that I really liked were wild ducks that my grandfather shot. Um, I liked a hamburger and I liked a good steak. Any other kind of beef I didn't like. I didn't like pork. Um, lamb I liked. Fish the only type of fish I liked as a child was shrimp.
Yeah.
And later I found out my constitutional makeup Ayurvedically. It was really interesting. My Ayurvedic constitution is mostly pitta. And when I learned that, and then I looked up the foods that were best for pitta, including animal foods, all the foods that I was naturally drawn to as a child were on that list.
Oh, okay.
And the foods that I really didn't like were the ones that I really shouldn't be having.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that shrimp was one of the fish that was on that list that I could enjoy.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And I've tried, I've over the years, there's been times that I've tried to go back and see if my body would like to have like raw salmon
Yeah.
or salmon eggs, just when I felt like there's something my body needed and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So because they're a source of good fat and good protein, I would go back and try raw, and I loved the taste, or raw oysters. But again, I'd get sick right afterwards. So
Yeah. Did you not feel like guilty for doing that?
no, I never felt guilty for doing that. I mean, there's a lot of for me, I really don't want to hurt anything. It's like
Yeah.
talk to the plants when I pick them every day to eat them, I talk to the flowers.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, where was I going to go with this? In the okay, I know where I was going with this. When I learned, it wasn't so much about not killing or taking the life of a fish to support me. It really became learning about how our bodies function naturally and how they're naturally designed. And that is what really kicks in for me. It's like, forget about killing an animal, that aspect of it. Our bodies aren't designed to kill an animal. Our bodies are not designed to eat an animal.
Yeah.
We're not like a big grizzly bear that can walk in the stream and pull a salmon out. We got to get a pole and sit there and wait for it and
Yeah.
lure with something. And we don't have sharp nails like a tiger that can rip a lion apart and get what it wants. And even a lion, when they kill an animal to eat, the last thing they eat is the meat. The last thing is the muscles, and they go for the blood and the organs first.
Yeah.
They go for the juicy things, and that'll sustain them. And anyway, just learning that our teeth are not designed to eat animals, they're designed to eat vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
Our stomachs, our intestines are not designed to process meats. There's no fiber in them. That just sits there and it putrefies. It rots in our stomach. It takes a long time to move the system. Our bodies are not made to do that.
Yeah.
Our bodies are not made. Look at what we have to do to grains to eat them. There are some we can sprout, which is cool. You can sprout grains, you can juice them up. They're wonderful. Anything that's not sprouted, that's not alive, that you have to actually cook. I personally, from what I've read and what I experienced in my own body, they're not needed. And somebody made a comment, the only animal on earth that's made to digest grains is birds because they have two stomachs
Yeah.
to do that. Um, so that's how I've kind of evolved to just fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds. And
So tell me on a standard day, like what do your meals actually look like? Because there's going to be a lot of people being like, what the hell does this guy eat? Like you know,
on a standard day, okay? A standard day, my morning is nothing but fruit. And it's not a lot because again, it doesn't fit with me. I
yeah.
mean, there was a time where I could eat 6 or 8 mangoes in the morning and wouldn't bother me, but with where I'm at now, I can't do that. So
Okay.
usually I have a couple of apples in the morning, and depending upon what fruits in season, I'm blessed to live on land that gives us, oh my God, we've got 50 olive trees, like 60 almond trees, mango trees. There's probably 40 grapevines on it, oranges. Just,
Oh, nice.
I'm blessed to have that, and blessed being in southern Spain, we get all kinds of fruit. So anything that I want, except basically what's best for my. If I was in the United States and before I left the United States, my breakfast consisted of Granny Smith apples and some sort of berry, mostly blueberries.
Yeah,
And I can't get that here in Spain. So Granny Smith apples are a treat. I can get them a couple of times a year.
yeah.
But I usually have a couple of apples for breakfast and then some other fruit that's in season. And I love all fruits, especially like cherimoya and mangoes.
Cherimoya. What on earth is a cherimoya?
Oh my God, Luna, you don't know what a cherimoya is?
No.
You got to come and spend a week with me.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Cherimoya is heaven.
What does it look like?
Um, they're about, let's say they can get the size of a grapefruit,
Okay.
even a little bigger. Some of them are heart shaped, which is really
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, and they're a green skin on the outside, sort of rough, and inside black seeds, big black seeds. Um, not as big as a apricot pit, but good size, and white custard inside. I mean, literally
Cool.
white custard.
That sounds amazing.
It's like if you combined banana, mango, and pineapple together.
Oh, that sounds pretty heavenly.
It is. It's very heavenly. The only fruit I really like more is, do you know what durian is?
Yes, I've had like dried durian, but I've not had it fresh yet.
Oh my God. I was teaching Tai Chi classes at a college, and the college gave me an assistant to help me out in my class.
Yeah.
And she was from Vietnam, and she knew I liked fruit. So one day she brought me a package of durian, and it was had been frozen, but it was the meat of the durian frozen, and gave it to me. Said, "Well, here, you'll like this." But she didn't tell me anything about it.
Okay.
She didn't tell me to eat it right away, because if you let durian or durian that's been frozen sit for a long time, it starts to give off sulfur gases and it smells terrible. I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah, I know that's how I heard about durian because it smells vile and like there was this challenge going around on social media. They're like, oh, everyone needs to try it, like it's so disgusting. But like you'll either love it or hate it. And I was like, well, I need me a bit of that. And when I was in America, that's when I found like durian in a packet, but it wasn't fresh.
Yeah, freeze dried is great. Frozen is I actually like frozen better than the fresh right out. There's something that happens,
Okay.
but once you unthaw it, you got to eat it.
Yeah.
I let it sit in the refrigerator for days and just smells. So,
Uh,
and then I had a friend come over one day, uh, and he was into healthy foods and finding different things and trying different things. And he brought a fresh durian over, and he says, "Here, let's try this today." And I just said, "Hey, man, I don't want anything to do with that." And he says, "No, when you open it fresh, it doesn't smell." So he opened it. We blended some with fresh vanilla. We blended some with cacao, and we blended some with fresh coconut meat.
oh, nice.
So that was my real introduction to eating durian, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I wished I could get it here in Spain because it really is a complete food,
Yeah.
between the protein, carb, and fat content. Plus, it everybody who I have ever shared durian with has the same experience, but it is like magic. instant high diffusing throughout every
Wow.
cell of your body. And it's like ecstasy. I mean, it's like,
Durian, the
anyway,
magic of fruits.
yeah. So durian and cherimoyas are wonderful. So back to what I eat in a day. That's my breakfast.
Yep,
And then about 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, um, I'll have some espresso with maybe a half a teaspoon of raw cacao and some stevia in it.
yep,
And I really brought espresso back into my life and coffee. I've always liked the taste of coffee, and especially strong coffee. Never drank a lot of it. Usually I would reserve it for when I was out at a restaurant and order an espresso.
yeah.
And I quit coffee for decades because I was in a really fancy restaurant with a couple of ladies that worked with me. I think they were taking me out for my birthday. And I had my favorite light beige pinstriped in burgundy, thin burgundy, and dark brown lines, and three-piece suit. And it was my favorite suit. And I ordered an espresso, took a sip, and I don't know if somebody made a joke at the table or if I just sneezed, but the espresso went all over my suit. My favorite suit.
No.
Never could get the stains out.
Oh no, how heartbreaking.
It was, but I really took it as a message from God that stop drinking this.
Yeah,
It's not good for you. And the only reason I started drinking espresso again was because of the studies that have come out that show, especially like 1 cup of coffee a day really helps the brain.
okay.
Um, and that's from some very spiritual vegans that have done the research on that
Yeah,
and looked at the research. So I've brought that back in, and um, I eat two meals a day. So my next meal is one of two things right now. It's alternating because we also have a lot of avocado trees on this property.
yeah,
Uh, so I overindulge in avocados because so they don't rot.
yeah. Valid.
But my lunch on an avocado day would be depending on the size of the avocados. My lunch is um, about that big of a piece of fresh aloe vera
Yep,
with a little bit of salt on it. And then I usually have a couple of tablespoons of fermented beet or fermented cabbage
yep,
or kimchi, a couple of tablespoons of spirulina
yep,
uh, mixed into a pudding. And I'll put oh, what's it called? What's hot? I don't know what the hot mustard is called. Can't remember off the top of my head. I'll put some powder in it to spice it up or some cayenne pepper.
yep,
And then I'll have avocados with whatever green veggies we got or herbs. Like right now we have basil leaves and um, always some fresh oregano leaves. Lettuce isn't easy to get here. Red bell peppers. So there'll be some fresh greens on my plate. And then I cook, I steam a lot of onion, red onion, white onion, about 6 cloves of garlic, and I eat 2 fresh cloves raw of garlic a day, about an inch and a half of fresh turmeric cut up with it, some raw onion in addition to what I'm cooking. So the onion, the garlic, some fresh ginger slices in there, and then I'll throw in whatever I want on top of maybe a part of a zucchini or some red bell pepper or some eggplant and put some tomatoes in it. Steam all that for a little bit, and that's my lunch.
Okay, sounds like quite the feast.
Followed by 2 tablespoons of raw cacao mixed with stevia, a little bit of triphala, which is 3 types of pepper,
Yep.
or trickatoo, no, trickatoo, not triphala, trickatoo, and a little bit of cinnamon and maybe a dash of salt. So that that's my standard dessert, so to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but my I have still, you know, oh God, I've been doing this for 40 some years and looked at all aspects of eating and the emotional side of it and all this stuff. And it's really weird. Um, when I get done with breakfast, I'm satisfied. Even at 3 meals a day, when I was eating 3 meals a day, when I finished lunch, I was always satisfied.
Yeah.
Dinner, no matter what I ate, it's like afterwards, even 2 hours, 3 hours afterwards, it's like I always wanted something,
Yeah.
and it's
Um,
still that way. And it's shifted from over the years having ice cream or something to now if I want something, I'll eat a tablespoon of nut butter
yeah.
or something healthier. And
It must have been quite a big adjustment for your body to go because obviously like even as going from an omnivore to plant-based, like you feel really hungry like for the first few weeks. Like no matter what you eat, like it's just like I've not eaten enough food, but then obviously your body gets used to it. So to go from, for you being an omnivore to what you have now, like it's a big jump, but like I've known you for about 3 years now, I think, and it's really interesting because like I would say out of everybody I know, you are the one that has the most energy. Like you've always got like a lovely, beautiful aura, like light, bubbly. You've always got so much energy, like, and you're just filled with positivity, like no matter when I see you. And it's just really like I think it says a lot, that how something like having raw food can impact a person because there's all this stigma that having not eating meat and dairy and stuff is no good for you and like it's going to make you tired and but it's actually rubbish like you're a prime example and I think that's really powerful like just hearing what you've been saying about what you've been having it doesn't seem like a lot at all but yet you're filled with so much energy like you are literally energy in abundance and it's
thank you
like it's
for
incredible.
thank you for reflecting that back to me. And literally, I do believe that diet is a part of it. I do believe that no matter what we put in our body, it has an effect.
Yeah,
And so if we're eating dead things,
then we're
we're
going to be dead.
we're feeding a live body dead things.
Yeah,
It's like other than what they do to us pollution wise and everything, I think these bodies are really designed to live about 120 years
yeah,
if we take care of them right. And I even look at my own family genetics, which are really good. I mean, all four of my grandparents, well, three out of the four of my grandparents lived into their 80s or 90s. The one that didn't just smoked and and drank himself to the point, but he even made it into his early 70s.
yeah,
Uh, and then I watched my mom and my dad. They made it into their 80s, but my dad just smoked and drank a lot. And my mom's diet was just horrible her entire life. And she started experiencing the consequences of that.
yeah,
And I believe she would have lived another 10 years had she shifted her diet. And she did start to shift a little bit in her last 10 years of life. She started getting away from the doctors and things and paying attention to herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, eating eating dead things and eating things that the body is not designed to process. For instance, I used to love pizza, but even when it's like when I found out that pizza was the hardest thing for the body to digest. The combination of grains, cheese, and meats. It's like a time bomb in the body. The body just
Yeah.
doesn't know what to do with it. So if we free up all of this energy, and my whole thing ever since I got on a spiritual path and kind of woke up that life wasn't what I thought it was the first 30 years, when I reawakened from what I shut down when I was a kid, um, my whole learning process has been how can I be the best I am in everything? And that includes physically.
Yeah.
So we are electrical beings. And when I was doing Tai Chi one time, I was on the side of a mountain and watching the sun set or the sun rise. Don't remember which one. But I was doing Tai Chi in a movement where I was taking my hands and going out and around and back like this. And something inside of me said, there's a way to use the sunlight to power our bodies,
Yeah.
not just laying in the sun. It's like it felt like that's our true source of energy. And I felt that. And then it was probably like 3 or 4 years later, I was doing Tai Chi in my backyard and it was at sunset time. And I had the same experience, like 4 years later or so, maybe even longer than that. I went into a really cool vegan restaurant the next day. Oh my God, best food in the world. Raw vegan. And this chef, oh my God.
Do you remember what it was called?
Yeah, it's called Ao Lac. There,
Owlac.
there's
And is
one in
that in
Los
Spain?
there's one in Los Angeles and one in Orange County in California.
Okay. I'll have to add that to the description notes as a
But
recommendation.
but oh, but the Ao Lac is there's one in Los Angeles and one in Fountain Valley. Um, oh, the chef there was silent. He didn't talk. That was his spiritual path, not talking.
Okay.
If you can imagine, you're a chef and you're not talking. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, certainly different.
but he used to come out when I was eating there, and we had a really wonderful relationship. And he'd come out and he'd bring me these things, and he said, "Here, try this." I don't know what he did, but he made things taste like fried chicken.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible what he did. But anyway, I'm in this restaurant and I see a flyer, and it's about a man from India who's going to give a talk on sun gazing. And so I went and listened to his talk and he had not eaten anything in 406. He had basically his diet was a little bit of water and buttermilk, a little bit. He was
Yeah.
basically not eating anything. And NASA actually investigated him and used him and locked him up for a year. I mean, he agreed to be locked up for a year without food so they could test him.
Yeah.
And all he did was sun gaze.
Wow.
And there's spiritual practices in India. You can look them up and find about sun gazing, and there's different ways of doing it. And I just thought, oh my God, you mean I can actually just get everything my body needs from sun gazing, and I don't even have to spend the time eating or buying the food? It's like,
Yeah.
I got to try that.
There's a
And
there's a lady, I think in Africa, I saw recently a little mini documentary, and she doesn't eat or drink, and she hasn't for years and years. And somebody went and interviewed her and like followed her around and stuff to see whether it was really true. But obviously, she doesn't use the toilet. Like She doesn't seem to sleep very much either, if I remember rightly, too. But she's like, I don't know how. I'm just, I just don't need it, and it's really incredible to see these stories.
Yeah,
It
and
definitely exists.
we can train ourselves. I've also read things about, depending upon the environment we're in,
Yeah,
that like maybe where she is in Africa, it's a much purer environment,
yeah,
and that our bodies actually need the foods that we do give it because it's kind of countering all of the other things we're being bombarded with. So it's actually a help.
yeah.
Mm. But I followed this man's advice, and he advised looking for 10 seconds at the sun, either the first hour of sunrise or the hour before it sets. And you add 10 seconds a day for every day you can see the sun, not through clouds or anything.
Hmm.
You talk about an addiction, Luna. I mean, it's like I lived in a place that was cloudy a lot, so I would actually get in the car and drive to find the sun so that I could continue these practices. And
Yeah.
there were two or three people that I was living with at the time doing it with me. Um, and he said if after 3 months of doing this, any eye problems you would have would be solved. My At that point in time, I don't know what's it called when you don't see far away too good. Nearsighted? Any,
Short-sighted.
yeah. Anyway, I couldn't my distance vision was getting a little bit off whack.
Yeah.
And after sun gazing, one eye went one way and the other eye went the other way. One eye could see better long and the other eye could see better short. Um,
Oh, how
so
interesting.
it didn't really heal my vision, but I see fine without glasses.
Yeah.
I'm wearing these because the light from the computers has really screwed my eyes up a lot. My eyes hurt.
Yeah.
I thought I was immune to that, but after years of sitting in front of the computer, it's like, no, your eyes are hurting for a reason, and
Yeah.
these really help.
And they
Um,
look cool too.
yeah, thanks. And, and he said after 6 months, if you have any mental problems, those will go away after 6 months of that. Well, I lived with a lady. I was taking care of a lady, a friend who literally had um, multiple personalities and entities within her.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought she would be a really good test to see if the mental stuff would clear up after 6 months. And she got better, but not to where anybody else would notice a difference.
Yeah.
Um, and then he said after 9 months, you won't need to eat again. And he also recommended grounding. He recommended walking in the sand 45 minutes a day if you could.
Yeah.
And barefoot walking in the sand has more than just benefits of connecting with the earth.
Yeah. It has healing powers.
Yeah,
Anti-inflammatory.
one of my chiropractors told me that every machine that man has invented to help with back problems is based on the what happens when you walk barefoot in sand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that was one of the things that really helped the back problems I was having. The other thing is was doing the plank pose for a couple of minutes a day,
Yeah.
strengthening core muscles. Um, so I built up to doing 45 minutes a day of sun gazing.
How long did you do that for?
I quit doing it. He said after you build up to the 45 minutes, you don't have to keep doing it every day. But I kept doing it every day for a long time. And I think I started that in about 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
And before I had my eyes examined because something was going on when I was in Sedona before moving to Spain here. And the eye doctor saw something in one of my eyes and he says, "Oh my God, what is that?" And it's like a sun had embedded itself in my eyes. Um, and I will I still sun gaze at sunset every once in a while. I don't make it a ritual. I just love to do it and
Yeah.
connect and feel it. Uh, but there was 2 days in a row, 33 minutes into that practice. That's the level I was at the time. I built up to where I was doing like around 33 minutes a day. For 2 days in a row, the moment I started, literally, I thought my body was going to explode. I really felt like I had become a nuclear reactor from head to toe
Wow, okay.
the entire time I was sun gazing. And I know that that changed my DNA, RNA, the physical structure and components of my body in a way that I can't say.
Yeah.
But I only eat Luna because I think I'm supposed to and because I enjoy it. I don't ever get hungry.
Yeah.
Um, so that's just back to, there's things we can do to keep ourselves healthy
Yeah.
and happy and not eating dead animals and getting sunshine and connecting barefoot with the earth and being around happy people and singing and chanting, whatever you like to do that way, and listening to really wonderful music and doing things you love, um, and
Makes a
staying
difference.
focused on your original God self, whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm curious, where do you like it sounds like you've done a lot of research on all this stuff. Where do you like find all of this stuff? Like how did you find out about, you know, the way your body actually like can thrive essentially? Do you have a source that you go to for a lot, or do you just sort of look around?
Well, I've been really fortunate in everything. I've never really looked for anything. It's like I know, so it's like asking my friend, do you have something for the body? It's like, and he sends me to an iridologist.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to look. Um, and then through the meditation path I got tuned into was vegetarian. So that was part of it. And I started reading a lot of books from the different meditation masters in India on what they ate and what they recommended. Like Yogananda has some suggestions, Muktananda had a cookbook, and um,
So is there a certain book that you would recommend to somebody that's like
my research, I think probably the person who's been vegan the longest on this planet that I know of, that has spent his life researching spiritual nutrition, is Dr. Gabriel Cousens.
okay,
And Gabriel's got all kinds of books. So
that'd be
I,
a good
I
place to start.
yeah, and I still, um, he's a wonderful source for all information related to keeping the body healthy. Um,
Good to know.
private,
Sharon.
private consultations cost a fortune, but he has a program every Thursday night
Yeah.
where you can, I don't know what his annual membership is right now. It's not a lot. So Gabriel's a realized being too. He's fully realized. Um, he has studied nutrition. He's studied American Indian paths. He's he's done those eagle dances and totem pole dances where you're out 4 days and 4 nights dancing without
Nice.
stopping. He,
Impressive.
He's done those things. I don't know. There was one Indian movie I saw where this American was being trained where they actually hooks into your nipples and hang you.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, and Gabriel's done that. I mean, he's put his body through a lot. So what he knows is experientially too.
Yeah.
Um, but he researches everything. So every Thursday he's got two programs. Uh, they are at the first one starts at 3:30 UK time and it goes till 4:30,
Hmm.
and it's called Spiritual Nutrition. So it always starts with about 3.5 minutes of dancing and about 11 minutes of meditating with him. And then he might have a topic he wants to cover, but it's all question and answer. So if you have a problem going on,
He's
he
there to
won't give
support.
he won't give you personal advice unless it can be related to some problem other people might have.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, between the things that were happening between 20 and 2023, he would give a lot of recommendations for supplements you could take to help yourself through different times.
Yeah.
Mm. So that is just like an invaluable hour once a week that you can spend with somebody that knowledgeable
Yeah, it
and
sounds awesome.
that enlightened spiritually and connected. Um, and then, so that UK time, I'll just give 3:30 to 4:30. And then at 5 o'clock UK time, he has an hour and a half program that follows it up. And it's called Alive and Liberated.
I like that.
So he starts that with dancing. And that meditation afterwards is about 22 minutes. And then the rest of the time is he will have some topics he'll talk about, and a lot of them are current with what's going on in the world and things. It's not just related to so-called what people might think is spiritual.
Yeah.
Uh, it's really about being liberated in your body.
Yeah.
Again, there's questions and answers, and people can share their meditation experiences. They can, their whatever's got they're stuck on in their life. Mm. So I think he is still my number one source for finding things out. I did a lot of studying and a lot of reading of Dr. Douglas Graham's things, and he was the 80-10-10, 80% fruit, 10% protein, and 10% fat.
Yep.
And I don't know too many people that have been successful on that. I tried it for a long time, didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
But like I said, my body needs more protein.
Yeah. Everyone's different, aren't they?
But I think Gabriel, I mean, he's got, besides being accessible personally that way, and for private consultations if you have the funds to afford that. Um, and he also he's got an online juice fast coming up in a week or so online. So you can go to his website and find out about that if people want. And he does those twice a year. But I don't know of any of all the things that I've read over the last 40 years and everything, he's really been my go-to.
Yeah. He sounds amazing.
Yeah, because
It's a
he's
good
lived it.
recommendation. Yeah, exactly. And that's invaluable, isn't it? You need
Yes.
experience. And yeah, that's a given. All right, moving on. Um, how would you say that veganism has impacted your life?
The way you described how I am.
Well, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
No, just between literally it has, it frees up energy. And it's like you can't eat your way home to God and to happiness, but that is a big part of it because if your body's not healthy, it's real hard to do spiritual practices. It's real hard to work.
Yeah,
It's real hard to focus. It's real hard to take care of your family or to just contribute at all. So mhm.
that makes sense.
I just feel literally I remember how I felt, um as a child, as a teenager, in my 20s. I remember how it feels to be in a body that was not eating properly. I weighed 205 pounds at one time. I don't know what that is in kilos, but it was heavy. And a friend of mine started jogging. And so I started to try to jog with the intention of losing some weight. I couldn't even make it around my block running. And I played sports as a teenager and through college. And even when I got into the work world, that's where I really started to gain weight, was going out to lunch and dinner in business groups and things and eating way too much.
Yeah.
So I started jogging and just gradually built up to where a comfortable run for me would be 5 miles a day. And on weekends, I'd go out and run 12 to 17 miles at a time. And, without trying to lose weight, that was at a time where, again, I was changing diets and everything simultaneously. But, my weight went down to 178. And then all of a sudden it was down at 168. And as I was starting to cut back on all of that stuff, I'd ride a bicycle 30 or 40 miles a week too,
Yeah.
including the jogging. And it's like one morning I woke up and I was 148. It's like, what happened? And then one morning I woke up and I'm 133. And then I got real sick at one point in time and was ready to kind of check out from this place. Um, and I was down to 105 pounds.
Wow.
And it's funny, Luna, because my Ayurvedic physician that was trained in India and he moved to the United States, and he just found me. He, I don't know how he found me, but he found me as soon as he came from India and wanted me to train his children in Reiki, and uh, been my best friend ever since. But when I told him I was sun gazing and starting to sun gaze, he said, "No, no, 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 don't do that. No, no, not good for you." Okay. And so I'm down to 105 pounds and it's like nothing's working. So he says, I'll be finally I called him or something. He says, I'm going to come over. I'll be right there. So he drives over and he looks at me. He says, nobody can help you. God can't help you. Nobody can help you but you. But you can start sun gazing.
Well, thanks.
He said that'll help.
That's
This is
funny.
this is years after he told me not to do it.
Yeah.
Oh God. And ever since then, it's like I built myself, but I don't know what I weigh now. I might weigh 128, 129, but no matter how much I eat, I can't get above this.
Yeah.
So
This is what
yeah,
you're at now.
it's just what I'm at, and it's what I had when I first got on a spiritual path back in the early 80s. I had a friend who was really psychic, and she did a reading for me, and she said, um, I don't know what the right words was, but basically she said is your natural body state, and she says you're going to be very skinny. And this was when I was right up there around 200 pounds. Says you're going to be very skinny, and um, even so skinny, even so thin, people might not think you're healthy.
Yeah.
But don't worry about that.
Nice.
So answering your question, I really know the difference between what I felt like before, because again, I knew at one point I'm just sitting there as like something's wrong with my body. And I'm actually going to I'm writing a collaborative chapter in a self-healing book that'll be released next year.
Hmm.
And my chapter this time, I've written in four different collaborations before, a lot of them about my healing journey in different aspects. But this one literally starts at the moment I realized something wasn't right in my body.
Yeah.
And to go through that process and what shifts it. Um, and I meditate every day since I found out meditating. So that contributes to a lot of studies on meditation showing the benefits
Yeah.
on the physical body, on the brain, on every aspect of the physical body, on how happy we are, on being centered. A lot of our problems are because our mind is crazy. You know, I woke up one morning and in that, that space right before you wake up, this kind of dream area, you're not awake yet and you're not asleep.
Yep.
I actually watched my mind planning my day. And I was watching that. And it's like, what is this? This is crazy. My mind is planning what I'm going to do during the day. This is not right.
Oh,
So
brilliant.
that led me to start really taking control of my mind. And by focusing on a mantra and repeating a mantra all the time and watching my thoughts and questioning my thoughts, and even for a month, every time my mind said something, I said, how do you know? Prove it to me. How do you know? Why are you saying that? Where's your information coming from? Um,
I love that.
but right now, my mind only really thinks when I want it to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's quiet. And I attribute that quiet mind to being able to be tuned into the universe and getting ideas to write 300 children's stories and 50 children's songs and
Yeah.
creating a new form of poetry based on Tesla's 369 code. That just like comes in, not something I go looking for. Um, and if we put the wrong foods in our body, and if we put, back to this, one of the things I want to say about the sun gazing is the green plants absorb the sun and turn it into chlorophyll that we eat, that our body uses. The animals eat the green plants. So when we're eating, besides the fact that it's dead, we're getting eating animals is the furthest from the source of our true energy, which is the sun.
Yeah.
So directly we can take it in through the eyes, we can take it in through the skin. Eating plants, we take it in through the plants. And it's readily absorbable. um, so that's the power of sunlight and keeping as few toxins out of our body in any form, especially what they do to most of the animals, um, keeps the brain clear. So we need to have a clear brain and a clear mind to be happy too, because it doesn't feel good to have a body that's sick.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good little way to end our
Mm.
interview. So I'm going to ask you one more question. Well, technically two. I ask this question to everybody. So, what is one piece of advice that you would give somebody looking to live a vegan lifestyle?
Find out your body composition, and Gabriel's books have ways of doing that. So basically finding out if you're a fast or a slow metabolizer, if your body metabolizes things fast or slow,
Yeah,
because depending on that, there are certain foods that will feed your body. Other foods will not make it run as well as it could run. So that would be the number one thing I would say is find out, and Ayurvedic is a way of tuning into that too. And yeah, and I was going to say earlier something about grains, it's like in India, in China, well, they must be healthy. Maybe they're healthy because they eat a lot of grains and a lot of rice. Well, no, those cultures, we've all been put down, there's been different hierarchies in all the cultures. And my sense of Ayurveda is they use all these wonderful spices to spice and heat things up to stir up the digestion in the body because what they're putting in their body isn't easily digestible.
Yeah.
So just because you're a kapha or a vata and it says rice is good for you, it doesn't mean rice is good for you. Okay. It's like those cultures ate rice because they didn't get what the rich people got.
Yeah.
Maybe they live longer because the rich people ate too much of the stuff that's non-vegan that they shouldn't have been eating.
Yeah.
But yeah, find out how your body metabolizes food. Look at the Ayurvedic and classify your body and see what foods really and drinks and herbs and everything really relate to your body. That's the number one thing. And the second thing along with that is then have the willpower to do it. And that's a lot, whether it's through friends, a support group, however you need to do it. We all need support in making changes in our life. And my own personal belief from what I've seen in working with people on diet and different things, in anything we try to change after 4 to 6 years old, anything that we try to change that was rooted into us in those first 6 years, our entire being looks at it as something trying to kill us because it's different
Yeah.
what our foundation is. So we bring in an exercise thing. People give up exercise because the body starts to say, "Oh no, this doesn't feel good." And I think with food, it's much like drugs. So if a mom has been on drugs, the baby's born a drug addict. Every one of us are addicted. Every cell of our body is basically addicted to how it was formed in our mother's womb. Whatever our mother was consuming, that's what formed our cells.
Yeah.
Our cells know that. And so when we decide somewhere in our life that our body's not feeling right, these cells have this memory of being born, formed, even though our body has changed and the same cells aren't there. There's still the memory encoded within us. It's like, oh, that dairy's so good. It's because my mom ate dairy all the time or ice cream. And so trying to change our diet, I believe, is as hard as trying to get off of heroin. Maybe even harder because unless you were born to a drug addict,
That makes so much sense to me.
because it's encoded in you. So yeah, it's like we have to be really gentle with ourselves because we're trying to make monumental shifts
Mm.
and we don't realize, and then we beat ourselves up because, oh man, I should be able to give that up. I should be able to bring this in. What's so hard about that? Well, what's hard about it is all of these cells inside of you are saying, no, no,
Oh,
you're going to kill
yeah.
us by doing that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. That's nice to hear that. Like I feel like I needed that message.
Mm.
So thanks for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
And then our final question is just a general, obviously, we're all about community. You're all about community. How can viewers get in touch with you if they want to have a chat or, befriend you
They
or
can get
work
in
with
touch
you?
with me at that website on the screen. And sometimes you have to put in www.timothystuetz.com
Yep.
and just go to the homepage and don't get overwhelmed with all of the things that I have there. But I but I do have a free 45-minute chat, just like we're doing. That in 45 minutes we'll get to the root of what's going on with you right now, and you'll have some direction to go from there. And then lots of different ways to support people after that, many of them free. There's a freebie page on my website that has a lot of stuff.
And then are you on any socials? People can connect through socials,
Uh,
do you?
Facebook page at Timothy Stuetz. Um, that's basically the main one that I use right now.
Okay.
I'm I'm looking at where to I'm on LinkedIn too, but Facebook's the one that I use mostly right now, and mostly I'm trying to move people into my email and connect that way, because some of the things that you want to say can't be said on social media platforms
Yeah,
anymore.
that's valid. Yeah, I totally get that.
It's so yeah, it's a bizarre world that we have to be
Yeah,
so careful with some things, and yeah.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you. It's been, yeah, it's been a treat. Like
Thank you.
I always,
I've never talked to anybody about my food, my food path
it's
and the
very
vegan,
exciting.
all the podcasts and everything I've done. I've never shared all this with anybody. So that's really cool.
Oh,
Thank you.
I feel privileged to be the first one, and then yeah, and then hopefully we get loads and loads of people watching, and then
Very nice.
yeah.
Or
So
that would just let me know when I can share it out there.
I will do.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do. Don't
Very
worry. Thank
nice.
you again. It's been amazing. I
Love
appreciate you
you.
sharing.
Thank
Love you
you.
too. Thank you to Bloomers, my viewers who've been watching. I hope you've enjoyed it and gained some insight as I have. And we will see you next time. Much love and hugs.